Lady, I never robbed the individual. I am so sorry. I cannot travel with you in this very dangerous country. But I wish you a very safe and pleasant journey. Adios.
What's up, everybody? We review every movie that was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Award from the first Academy Award in 1927 up until the 101 Academy Award in 2028, which hasn't come yet, but we'll get there. Today we're reviewing a movie from 1929, which was nominated at the second Academy Award, called An Old Arizona. Like we always do, the first part of the review will be spoiler free, so anyone who doesn't want this almost 100-year-old movie spoiled, don't worry, first part is spoiler free. Second part will go more in depth with the spoilers. Let's get into some interesting information about Old Arizona. First, came out in January 1929, was directed by Irving Cummings. Was supposed to be directed by another director who was also supposed to be playing the main character, but he got into an accident and lost an eye, and so they had to switch both the main actor and the director. Quite a
turn of events.
Yeah, quite the ordeal. The movie stars Warner Baxter as the main character, Cisco Kid, Edmond Lowe as the surgeon Mickey Dunn, and Dorothy Burgess as Tonya Maria.
Tonya, wasn't it Sonia?
Information I have is Tonya. It does sound like it was
sounds
Sonia.
like Sonia when they say it in the movie.
Yeah, it might be Sonia. Tonya, Sonia. Let's call her Maria.
All right.
Okay. Of course, like with a lot of these early movies, we get a lot of first. First sound movie, first black and white movie, blah, blah, blah. This was the first major Western movie to use sound and be filmed outdoor.
Interesting.
It's very specific.
That's very specific. The first Western movie to be filmed outdoors.
No, with sound.
With sound filmed outdoors.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, very specific.
But it's interesting because of the intricacy of filming ambient sound. When you're outdoor, it's different than filming inside, of
and
course.
I have to say, you kind of feel it.
With the sound quality?
Yes, when you watch the movie.
Okay. The movie was a success. Obviously, it was nominated at the Academy Award. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards.
5 of them.
Yeah. Of course, Best Picture. Was also nominated. Warner Baxter was nominated for Best Actor, which he won. The director was nominated for Best Director, didn't win. They got a nomination for Best Writing, Best Cinematography, and Best Picture. That rounds it up to 5. Again, we're still spoiler free, but I want to give a quick review of the movie, just to remind you and remind the audience what this movie is about. It's about a happy-go-lucky criminal called Cisco Kid, who's playing this kind of cat and mouse game with a local sergeant. Well, he's not local, but a sergeant who's out to get him, while also being stuck in kind of a love affair with a local lady. So Anna, can you tell me, without spoiling anything, what did you think of this movie?
So I did not know the information that you just gave earlier. It was filmed outdoors, and this was apparently not the standard maybe of the time.
With sound, of course, there were previous movies filmed outdoors.
Yes, with sound and filmed outdoors, right? But now that you told me that, it makes sense, because the sound quality is not the best, and sometimes it is a bit difficult to even hear the dialogue. You have to guess half of the things. Other than that, I really loved it. I loved the plot. The story was quite interesting, in my opinion. And spoiler free, I loved the ending. So you're gonna have to watch it.
Right. That's quite an interesting ending. On my part, yeah, I love the plot. I think it's a very interesting ending too. I think it's a movie that like I know everybody hates remake, but if it was remade, I don't know if it was remade. I didn't see any info about that. But if it was remade, it might make an interesting movie even now. You might have
Yes,
to
I
change
think so.
a bit of stuff to like make it a bit more believable. But I think it'd make an interesting plot even today. Um, Sound quality, as I was watching it, I was telling myself like it's probably they're not used to recording with sound. Like even if it wasn't outside, they're just not used to recording with sound. So that's a whole thing. Um, some of the acting and for some of the characters I thought was questionable.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Um,
I don't know. I don't think this would be a spoiler. I don't think so because it's a Western movie. The actors do speak with a Western accent.
You mean like
What
southern
call it?
accent?
Like
Some
southern
of
accent,
them have
right?
southern accent.
Southern accent, right? That is the
Mm.
one. It doesn't. It sounds either forced or maybe even fake sometimes.
Yeah, but all in all, I enjoyed it. Like I had fun. I had fun watching it, and I'd recommend anyone who's interested, go out and watch it before we spoil it all for you. Because right now we're going into spoiler discussion, and I want to start this spoiler discussion by discussing the character, which the name escapes us. Tonia, Maria.
Maria,
Mhm.
right?
What did you think of Maria? Because she's the centerpiece, really, of
Yes.
this movie, and she's there a lot. And I feel like half the time I was either entertained or annoyed that she was there.
So first thing that I want to say, and it's what I thought about when as I was watching the movie, was that we have seen in all the movies that we've watched so far, right? All these old movies, the female character having quite an important role in one way or another. But in this one, for the first time, even though she was not the main character, it really felt like her role in the story, in the plot, was essential.
Yeah, she's
It
as
was, the
you
story
could say like
was about her.
she's as important as the two other
As-
main characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You think it's interesting that you think at first, or at least I thought at first, of her as a good character, but then she turns out to be
A bitch. She's kind of a
bitch.
bitch. Yeah, no, let's not be. We're not wearing gloves
Right.
here. Yeah.
right. So you think at first that she's this Latina lady in love with
With the bad boy.
bad boy, right? They have a dream to run away together and be free. But then it turns out that she's all about the money and all about.
She's very vain. She's just
she's
using
vain,
him,
she's
and then she
using
tries to
him,
use
yes,
the other
guy, right?
When she realizes he doesn't like her, she gets angry. Like it's all about herself. You know?
Right, exactly. Which is an interesting character to play. I actually liked her character.
I mean, it's an interesting character in terms of like how it's written.
Right.
I'm just saying she annoyed me.
Oh yes,
half
of
the time she
course.
was on
But I
screen.
feel like that was
But
her role.
that's probably the point. Yeah. Of
Yes.
course. And that is why she dies at the end, and you're not sad for her. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, at that point, I was more sad for the other guy who also isn't
The Cisco
The
kid,
one- yeah.
the criminal,
the criminal. Yes.
but he's the one you're rooting for, which is a
Yes.
strange turn because it's mostly from his point of view, and he's kind of like he doesn't rob civilian. You know, he tries to have a moral code even in his crime ways.
Right. Yes.
But he's still a criminal, and yet we root for her rather than the sergeant who's arrogant and kind of, pompous, walking around the town like he's...
Like he's owning the place.
Yeah, exactly.
That ending scene, though.
Yeah.
Since we're spoiling it, we should spoil it all the way.
Yeah, there's no need to go too deep into it, but yeah, Cisco, after realizing that Maria is betraying him, arranged so that the sergeant would kill her thinking it was him. It's a whole
Right.
thing, which I think it's an interesting twist, And that's what I meant by saying it might have to be reworked a bit if you make a remake
Yes, because
to make it a
it's
bit
not
more like believable.
a bit,
but,
it's not a believable story. That's
Yeah.
true. But it's interesting. It's interesting that so far also I don't think that we've seen an ending like quite like this yet in the movies we've watched. We've seen twists, like a twist of situation, with characters turning out not to be
Yeah.
who you thought they were in the beginning. But this kind of an ending, I feel like it's something quite.
You didn't
quite
expect
new.
it, yeah. That was very interesting.
Honestly, from just thinking about the way the story unfolded to that point, I thought he would either die or get caught at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But to think that he actually escaped,
Yeah,
with
I
a
thought
broken heart,
he'd kill the sergeant and like leave the girl by herself. But in the end, like she dies and he escapes, and both the men live.
Right.
So one last time, what did you think of the movie? Loved it? Recommend it?
I did like it. I wouldn't say I loved it. Maybe I do have my reservations about it, mostly because mostly because of the sound quality of it. It was difficult for me to follow through. I do feel like I missed quite large parts of the dialogue. You do get what the story is about, just from watching it. It is kind of annoying though. But yeah, the story is very interesting. Characters are very interesting.
Yeah, I was entertained. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And if you want to be entertained, I recommend you also watch the movie. We're in this era like when sound first appeared and pre-code movie. We'll talk about code movie maybe later in these review series, but this is a pre-code movie, and so it's very interesting to think about that in the context of the time and how they portray the female character. Like you wouldn't think she's very sexualized. She's very, even the dialogue is a bit more sexualized than you would be used to, or that you would think at the time they would permit. So I thought that was a very interesting and very entertaining movie. I recommend you watch it. That will be all for us today. Next time we're reviewing, I think the last movie. Oh no, next time we're having a discussion about Lost movie because one of our movies is actually unfindable now.
Right.
Every copy of it is lost. So stay tuned for that. That was all for us today. Thank you and see you next time.